Thank you for that. This morning, Ashu talked about a lot of things that eGain's doing. Allegra talked about customer journeys as well. But that's all good, and in theory, we can talk about them. But I think it's better if we have an opportunity to hear from someone that's in the midst of doing that. And so we're excited to invite Casey Hossa from HCSC, the VP of Customer Service there, to come up and share with us what he's done. He's been working with them for a long time, what he's done, what he's doing, and what he's planning on doing. So welcome Casey to the stage. Thank you, Casey.
You know, the word digital has really been thrown around quite a bit. And I got to share a little story. So one of the responsibilities I have at HCSC, and let me tell you a little bit about HCSC. HCSC is the parent company of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, Texas, New Mexico, Montana, and Oklahoma. It's a privately held, member-held organization. We're headquartered here in Chicago. Just to give you a sense, it's a very large privately held organization. I would say it's probably one of the largest in Chicago. Last year, our revenues were a little over $60 billion. So about 27, 28 billion last year in premiums. So a large organization. And one of the responsibilities that I have, make sure I got a clicker here, is taking a look at and planning out and helping us vet out what we do in the customer service experience. What do we want it to be? And we begin to do that planning over the course every year, looking at it throughout the year, but we really look out 3 years. So yesterday, I happened to be in a session where we're trying to finalize and put form around the work that we want to do in 2016, which means we have to get down to some very crisp numbers, clear view on what the value drivers are going to be. And digital has been so pervasive that yesterday we went through the list, and on this list, it's a long list, 90% of the titles had digital in it somewhere. So we actually had to go through the process of going, not really digital, not really digital. Because I think everybody begins to understand the value behind it, right? And what's occurring in the marketplace. I'll share with you that in the last probably month, whether I talk to an organization like eGain, and I visit one of these summits, or I spend time with Forrester or Gartner or one of the boardroom consultants or one of the big consulting firms that are out there, digital. It's all about digital. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing and how we're moving down this path. We've been a partner of eGain now for 5 years. It's been a great partnership, and I think we've been able to leverage the capabilities that eGain has brought and allowed us to begin to think about how we leverage that, the value drivers behind it, and where we want to be able to go. A little bit about the agenda today. I talked about who we are, our mission, and I think what's exciting about the organization that we are, and I'll talk a little bit about the industry that we're in, is we're member-owned. So being privately held, you have the opportunity to be sometimes a little more strategic on where you invest and what you do. And we're really at a place and a point in time where the major tectonic plates around healthcare have shifted, right? We had the advent of, the exchange, Obamacare, a number of years back. And you could see today, right, when you open up the paper, the major headlines. So whether it's on the right-hand side, a set of PBMs consolidating, or the left-hand side, a set of large payers consolidating, it's really all about scale and cost, right? How do we get more efficient? And I don't have them listed out here, but you see the same thing happening in the provider space, right? Large hospital networks and physician networks coming together. And it's really intended to help us not only get scale, but begin to drive and manage the cost structure associated with healthcare and that entire ecosystem. So as we take a look at what's happening in this marketplace, it's really a great opportunity for us to think differently about customer experience. Because if you think about it, it's one of those few industries that you know, I've got to wait until 8:30 to call my provider to get an appointment, right? Or I get EOB's explanation of benefits mailed to me, right? We just haven't brought digital to the forefront. So I look at my role in this organization and the opportunity that we have, and I say, wow, right? I've had opportunities to work in a number of other verticals outside of healthcare and healthcare payers specifically, but the opportunity here is just tremendous, right? And you could see that with the advent of, you know, you've got large organizations like Google looking at healthcare, right? You could see the myriad of devices that are out there that help us put a dashboard on our health, right? The watch, right? We've got a dashboard on the car. What a wonderful device, right? I've got a dashboard on my health, right? Not only can I connect up on email, but I can manage and monitor myself, much more self-aware. So it's just a fantastic point in time and really a great opportunity. So we heard a lot today about what are really the tenets, right? How do we move this forward? Well, let's go, well, maybe we'll go back. How do we move this forward, right? And for us, we really had to structure this from the top. And we kind of said, we need to take advantage of the best practices that are out there, right? Organizations like eGain, other companies that are out there, they've solved it, right? There are solutions. There are process improvements. There are multi-modes that we can deliver in. It's really modified the capabilities and the opportunities to take advantage of that and really move pretty quickly. One of the things that we have underway as sort of an underpinning here is sort of what do we want this customer experience to be? And we started off around not only what we want it to be, what we don't want it to be. And I think you heard a little bit about that this morning. So we said, one, let's take advantage of the best practices that are out in the marketplace, right? It's clearly on us to be able to do that. And we heard a little bit about digital first, but you know, we're all gotten very accustomed to our devices, right? Let's take advantage of those devices. Let's design for that first. We have to be conscious of engagement. And the way I define this is, I have a short attention span, and I think so does everyone else. So how do we take advantage of that? How does it get to not only the 3 clicks, but how do we become more in tune with what you need and where you're at? We talked about, and I think the words up here were differentiated experience. And that's important for us. But I will tell you, we started off with sort of the basics of what you heard in the last presentation. What are the gaps that we need to fix? So we understand our customer journey. We built a customer journey map, and I'll share that with you in a little bit. And we said, what do we need to fix, right? What are the gaps that we want to fill? And then how do we build from that? Because it's not only around filling those gaps, it's also understanding where do we want to be at parity and where do we want to be differentiating. And understanding that throughout that customer journey. And where it makes sense and where you really make that connection and that I'll call it that emotional connection, right? We clearly said to ourselves we need to be transformative. So the effort that we have underway is really from the C-level down, right? This has got full transparency and full support. It's critical to our longevity, and it's really critical to us being able to be successful in the marketplace as we go forward. We want to make sure that we're contextually aware, right? If you're a new member trying to figure out what healthcare insurance is about, we ought to know that, right? One of our basic tenets. If you're going through a situation where you need some help and you need to take advantage of the healthcare benefits that are out there and take advantage of what the provider networks provide, and whether it's care management or some other things that we can provide, we need to be aware of that. And we need to understand that and help guide that experience. We said we need to be ubiquitous, right? Let's take advantage of the devices that are out there. And we said we want this to really be, we talked about differentiating, and I think the conversation earlier today was around value. So we said fundamentally, we need to look where we drive value, right? And the ability to operate in multiple modes is critical for us to begin to move forward and to be able to garner and get to that value, right? It's really the time to value measure that you want to focus on. So within the organization ourselves, what we've done is we've positioned ourselves in really, I'll call it 3 modes. Very fast, and pretty good, right? And it's really based on methodologies. So a lot of the work that we do underneath on our I'll call it our technology delivery is focused on, so the very fast is really, think about XP methodology, right? And in sort of this XP model that leverages things like Agile, right? All the lean principles and all the other wonderful things that are out there, allows us to move really quick. You know, the concept of a product owner, right? A product designer, paired programming, very specific around engineering and what you do. And the time to market is phenomenal, right? It's really a matter of weeks and months versus months and years. And our customers expect it internally, our external customers expect it, right? It's part of the game today. So I talked a little bit about sort of the core tenets of what we put together, why we're doing it. We put together a case for change. And I think I talked a little bit about the tectonic shifts in the marketplace, but we clearly realized that we have margin pressures, right? We have more complex products out in the marketplace. We're trying to incent our customers to take on good behaviors, right? To take advantage of wellness capabilities and wellness tools that we have out there, to be more self-aware, right? And we've structured products and plans to create incentives for that, working with either individuals directly in the products we sell or working with large groups, which is, again, another set of products, another line of business for us. And I will tell you, the ability to structure those big levers around margin and customer satisfaction and the ability to turn those dials and creating that case for change is really fundamental to getting that C-level support, right? Because we're making some big commitments, some bold statements around where we want to be and what we want to be able to do. And the opportunity to make that happen and the opportunity to help people understand the impact that we can have is really pretty critical. Let me go back in time a little bit and share with you. I've got a slide up here that says, here's where we started. So about 4 years ago, we came back and we said, here's really the structural themes that we want to execute against, right? We want to be able to get to a single view of customer, regardless of channel. Make sure that we understand and we have process integration underneath. Make sure the system's tied together, right? We wanted to make sure that our call centers were optimized, right? We had a multi-channel strategy, and we kind of structured these into themes, right? Optimization and service channel capabilities. Taking advantage of multi-channel capabilities. Making sure that we have the right analytics underneath, right? You know, appropriate BI tools and leverage customer information. And really take advantage of innovation, right? Because throughout all of these pieces, we want to be able to take advantage of what we can learn from the analytics and what we can innovate with, right? And drive forward with. And in this process, what we did is we came back and we said, there are some themes and there's some efforts that we need to begin to pursue. And we talked, and this really gives you a nice view into kind of the key actions that we wanted to pursue. And really it allowed us to create a baseline, an understanding of the capabilities that are out there, a baseline for what we can begin to do, and gave us I'll call it a good learning platform. And it's really, this work was really critical as we began to position ourselves to go forward. It was critical in helping us establish the work that we have in front of us today and the plans that we have as we go forward. And as we look back at that work, there were a couple things around delivery that I want to make sure we cover. And a lot of this is around, I'll call it active governance, right? The ability to understand and the ability to make sure there's transparency and awareness across all levels on the work that's being done, how it's being done, the success associated with it, the failures associated with it, what we need to do differently, right? And it was structured in a way that allowed us to say, it's not just delivering a whole set of new capabilities, understanding the sequencing of that capabilities, the objectives associated with it, and being very pragmatic about when we introduce it and why we're introducing it, right? And being smart about it. It's not just a matter of I'll call it sort of the internal politics of saying, I want to be able to get something out in 3 months or 6 months or 2 months. It was about what's the right answer here, and when can we begin to make an impact, and when can we begin to measure that, right? And we were very focused on trying to make that happen and understanding the skills and the capabilities, understanding the structures that we need to have underneath in terms of teams and how we begin to make this happen. And I would say, you know, the things around here around continuous improvement and understanding impacts are sort of just core to learning. So what's been critical for us is our ability to capture this information and then reflect on it so that we can reposition ourselves. So when I started the conversation around, you know, we've got multiple modes in which we're operating in, right? Kind of fast, very fast, and we're doing good, right? And structuring ourselves that way, a lot of this was really great input to getting ourselves there. We're moving to a place where we are structuring in what I would call our delivery engine is really focused on products. And it's focused on an aggregation of products in some cases, where we have a team that's either agile, Scrum, iterative Scrum, or high impact agile, that's moving us forward, right? And we said that was the right structure for customer experience, right? It's if you took the Gartner view of, you know, systems of record, systems of experience, and systems of innovation, we said in the space of customer experience, boy, systems of innovation and systems of experience give us the opportunity to begin to execute this way and really change the way delivery is perceived and position ourselves to really respond back to the market pretty effectively. I want to talk a little bit about the work that we've done with eGain historically and take advantage of what I'll call sort of the broader capability model, the complexity, the value drivers behind it. And these things become very important to us as we begin to do our planning. And it's been very important for us as we position ourselves into the 2016, 2017, 2018 views of what we want to be able to do. And I think this map here begins to share sort of a 2010 to 2015 view. So a lot of the success that we've had with eGain has really been around kind of the basics, right? If you turn back in time and you think about what occurred when the exchanges first came out with direct-to-consumer, the newspapers were flooded with commentary around challenges, right? We can't get the websites up. They're slow, right? And we were able to take advantage of the capabilities that eGain brought to the table. So the opportunity to work with, in many cases, people that never had applied for health insurance, didn't understand the constructs of what health insurance was or is, and the ability to just help them through an enrollment process, right? So the ability to co-browse, the ability to chat effectively, allowed us to begin to build those relationships, allowed us to begin to help people and really start off the relationship and the experience in a positive way. And we've learned a lot, and we've been able to take advantage of a lot, and we've gotten to a place where when we talk about the analytics and the sciences around this, the ability to understand where we've been successful and where we need to tune, right? And how do we begin to improve this overall customer journey? Where we're going is probably the most exciting piece of it, right? Being able to take advantage of the major components associated with Omnichannel, right? Knowledge Hub. We've got a lot of work that's focused on. We've got a lot of work that's focused on taking advantage of, interactions, right? Taking advantage of what we've learned, taking advantage of, preferences, right? What channels have been used. So as we begin to position ourselves going forward, looking into 2016 and beyond, our opportunities really, again, to leverage the partnership that we've had with eGain and see what capabilities they've got and take advantage of their platforms and where they're going. So for us, this is a pretty exciting, journey that we've been on. It's a trusted partnership that we've had for a number of years. And I think for us, the opportunity to take advantage of the capabilities that we have going forward is really probably what's most exciting. I think this, again, just covers sort of the ability to work together as teams, right? Software over comprehensive documentation, collaboration, right? Responding to a plan, understanding the challenges that we have. This gives you a little bit of a sense of the work that we've done together, and I think I highlighted some of the big stuff. And what we found, if you take a look at the kind of time to market things, what I thought was most interesting here was our ability to kind of learn, go from 4 months to 3 months, right? So in some cases, figure out how do we continue to optimize. So we've had a lot of success in what we've been able to accomplish together. And I think what's most exciting in this space is our ability to continue to figure out and optimize where we go and how we move forward, right? And get better at it. Because that's what we expect. That's what the leaders within my organization expect. And I think that's what our customers expect. You know, we've got a lot of keys to the overall success in our partnership with eGain, right? And I think a lot of it is really focused on understanding that common vision, understanding that common need, right? We've got a relationship that we have in place and we've been able to take advantage of. And I think we've been a very transparent partner, and so has eGain, around trying to understanding the challenges that we have, the direct opportunity that we have, and figuring out how we move together, and really continuing to build that trust. So we heard a lot about journey maps. So we've got journey maps. We looked at our customer's experience all the way through. And this gives you a quick snapshot of some of the work that's been done underneath. And really, this is the basis that we're using as we go forward. We've taken a look at and understanding essentially what we need, where our problems are today, where the gaps need to be filled, where we want to be at parity, and where we want to differentiate. And I thought the thing that was most interesting to me today in the earlier conversation is understanding my competitors' journey maps, right? And what that customer experience is. And I thought, for me, boy, that's a pretty exciting piece, right? Because, again, it gives us the opportunity to vet out where we differentiate, why we differentiate, and where's our competitive set relative to that differentiation, right? And just sometimes begin to pressure test some of our thinking and where we're going, what we're trying to get accomplished. I think what's most important, at least for me, as we continue down this path and this journey, is we're still focused on some of the same basic tenets that we started off with. So when I take a look at that first slide, a lot of it was really based on managing that digital experience and managing that experience through all the channels, understanding that customer, being able to be in the moment, right? Being able to understand the analytics and get to the facts underneath, right? Making sure that you have the right infrastructure and the right tool sets underneath, and being able to have a delivery engine that allows you to move pretty quickly and learn, deliver, build out new capability, adjust where you need to. So for us, you know, this relationship and what eGain has brought to the table and our continued partnership has really been tremendous. And as we go forward, we see a lot of the same tenets that we had before on the delivery that we want to pursue. And again, we're very much educated by the work that's been done relative to the journey maps, where our gaps are, and where we want to go in the future. So I think that really covers the bulk of what I wanted to make sure we got across today. Hopefully you found some of this interesting. And thank you for the opportunity to share our journey with you.